Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's me again. I'm back with another one. Demon the voice reads, am I the a-hole? You know how it goes. Just me today, as it usually is. I go on Reddit, I find something that I feel like reading about, I read it to y'all, give my opinions, and try to be somewhat entertaining for all of you. Let me know if you like it. Comment on whatever podcast you want to comment on. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere you get your podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on a bunch of shit I never heard of. It's everywhere. Everywhere you get your podcasts, it's there. So, wherever you're listening to me, howdy do, everyone. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Call me an asshole, I guess, if you need to. Actually, don't do that. That'd be rude. Or do. It's the internet. I understand. People like to feel heard on the internet, says the guy with the podcast. Anyway, let's see what happens. That was a weird way to end the intro. Anyway, am I the asshole for not paying for my child to go to prom? Seems like kind of a long story for that title, but there's a lot of words here. I haven't read them yet. But, I mean, what's the reasoning? I don't want to say yes or no yet. I don't really have an opinion based off the title. I usually try to give like a preliminary opinion based off the title and then, reevaluate once I read everything. But, not really enough. I mean, why? Why didn't you? Is there a reason? Is your child an asshole? Guess we'll see. Context. My daughter's boyfriend's mother is toxic. Okay. She seems to have some sort of mental disorder, but because I don't really know her outside of their relationship, I can only call it toxic. Okay. A few months ago, I blocked her from messaging me after she threatened me about a CashApp account my daughter set up under my name for him without telling me. They're 17. Okay. I failed to see how your daughter stealing your information and setting up a CashApp in your name is... How do you get from A to B on your daughter doing some fuck shit like that to the boyfriend's mom being toxic for telling you about it? She should have told you about it. You should be upset at your daughter, not the mom. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. She found the account, and because my daughter used my information to set it up, it had my name on the transfers. I tried to explain to her that I didn't know anything about the account, but she proceeded to threaten me and demand apologies. Oh, see, now there's your problem. There's your problem now. Now the moms are fighting over some shit that the teenagers did. Mind you, they're not little kids. She's 17. They're 17 years old, so they're not like tiny children. They definitely know this was not okay to do. She's been blocked since then, and I forbade my daughter from going to their house after she went through my daughter to continue to speak hatefully about me. Oh, see, you can't badmouth the mom to the kids. Don't leave the kids. If you all got beef, leave the kids out of it. Of course, this beef was caused by the daughter, so, although I do think that a grown-ass woman talking to a teenager sideways like that is a little weird, but she also had said many foul things about my daughter. Oh, imagine getting in the face of a 17-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you as a grown-ass adult. I assume if you have a 17-year-old kid, you're probably at least in your 30s, probably maybe 40s. I don't know, but imagine being a full-grown ass adult yelling at a teenager like that. Like, that isn't yours. That's somebody else's kid that you're just getting in the... I mean, I don't care. If it was me, I don't care, what my kid did. Listen, if my kid did some shit like what this girl did, hell to pay, right? Insane consequences for that. But if you, as somebody who is not... a parental figure in my kid's life, gets in my kid's face and starts yelling at and insulting and shit at them, even if you are a parent, if anybody gets in to one of my stepkids' faces and starts yelling and insulting and berating them, I'm gonna have something to say about that. And by something to say, I mean put your motherfucking hands up, because who the fuck do you think you're talking to like that? Like, like if my kid did some crazy shit like that, I'm gonna handle that. You trust that. But you don't get to insult my kid. You don't get to come at my kid crazy. Absolutely not. You get to come at my kid crazy about me or certainly about them. You ain't gonna hurl insults and shit at my kid and get away with it. Absolutely not. Put your motherfucking hands up. Like, we're done talking. There is no way you're talking to my kid that way. I don't care how old they are. I don't care, 17, like you said, nearly an adult, that's whatever. But, like, that's still my kid. And you are not going to talk, I don't care who you are, you're not going to talk crazy to him like that and have me know about it and nothing's going to happen, okay? Like, they'll get the discipline. Trust that. You trust me to handle that as their parent, right? I'm going crazy on you. You start hurling insults and shit at my kid. Regardless, okay? Now, mind you, I don't know what the consequences were from the poster of this towards her daughter for this felony. I mean, in order to set up somebody's something like that in somebody's name, you have to have their all their personal information and shit. So she stole her identity effectively to set this up. So stole her personal information. So that's illegal. So that's, I don't know what the consequences were for this. I guess hopefully we'll find out, right? Fast forward to last week, my daughter wanted to go on a trip with her boyfriend for spring break. Woohoo! Spring break, woohoo! I agreed because she told me the boyfriend's grandmother would be facilitating the trip sans the mother. Sans the mother. I paid for her to go and gave her money after she reassured me that the mother wasn't involved in the trip. You let your daughter go on a spring break trip with her boyfriend after she stole your information to set up a CashApp for him? I mean, I don't know how far apart these two incidences are, but I bet they're close enough. If my kid stole my info to set up some CashApp bullshit, you bet your ass you're not going on spring break with the motherfucker you used to set up. You're not going on spring break at all. You're going to have spring break at home with me. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a good time on spring break after you stole my shit. Like, what are we talking about here? My daughter didn't call me the entire time she was gone, which was odd as hell. I messaged her a few times, but I didn't want to be overbearing because I understand she's at the age where personal freedom is important, but I couldn't help feel like I already knew why. Oh, boy. Was the mom there? Was the other mom there? Let's see. When she got home, I asked to look at the picture she took and noticed her boyfriend's mother was tagged in them. iPhone. I clicked on the name and it went to a group text where I could easily see that the mother had been with them the entire trip. Oh, shit! Your daughter doesn't respect you. At all. At all. Not only did she steal your identity and shit to set up that CashApp, but then she lied to you about this spring break trip. So, and associated with someone you specifically forbade her from associating with. Listen, man, I get teenagers are tough, right? The oldest of the stepkids is a teenager. I get teenagers are tough, but actually the two oldest are teenagers. Jesus Christ. I'm getting old, folks. But like, your teenager doesn't respect you, okay? Your kid does not respect you. This behavior is wild. I was extremely upset by this, by the mom going on the trip, and grounded my daughter. Oh, fuck, you're grounded. Imagine grounding a 17-year-old. That's not going to work. I hate to tell you. I know that prom is important, so I didn't take it off the table at the time, but I considered it strongly prior to dealing out the consequences. I mean, that seems like a fair consequence. You know, I'm glad to see you're giving her some consequence. Today, I get a notification from her school app showing that she's missing 10 assignments. Girl, you need to lock in on your fucking kid. She's stealing shit to set up apps and stuff. She's lying about who she's going on trips with. She's not doing her schoolwork. Bitch, lock in as a parent. Jesus Christ. Some of them are a major part of her grade, the assignments. Some of the missing 10 assignments, some of them are a major part of her grade. I bring it up to her, and she doesn't seem to care. Of course she doesn't care. She's a teenager. Brushing it off like I'm bothering her by asking about them. Yeah, she's 17 years old. And given the baby before, of course she doesn't give a shit about her grades. No one gives a shit about their grades, except for people trying to be lawyers and doctors and shit. At this point, I'm at my wit's end and don't know what to do. Be a parent. Try that. I tell her that she's not going to prom. She only replied with, okay. Pfft, she's definitely going to that fucking prom. She'll probably steal your fucking credit card to pay for it if she has to. I know she cares as this is her senior prom, and I don't want to take it from her, but I don't see how I can go through with it when she's shown a consistent lack of care in regards to the rules I set forth, as well as her success in school. Be honest and tell me if I'm the asshole so that I can get some perspective on the situation before moving forward. You want me to be honest, lady? I don't know that you're an asshole. I do think that you need to lock in as a parent, though. I do think that your daughter clearly has a severe lack of respect for you and your rules. And I think that taking away prom is not a severe enough punishment. There should have been a severe punishment, severe consequence, discipline after she stole your shit, your information to set up that Cash App. That's a serious offense now. That's a serious offense, okay? And then you let her go on this spring break after having done that, and she lies to you about who she's going with on this trip. Going with somebody you specifically told her not to associate with. Like, mind you, it's your boyfriend's mom, so that's kind of difficult. Like, maybe you and the mom should probably work that shit out. Maybe you two should get together or lock in on your kids, right? But, like, so that's strike fucking 2 now. And then you got all these missing assignments, which in the context of the other two things is not as big of a deal, but in conjunction with everything else, this kid, you need to parent this kid, right? And like, I get it, right? Parenting's not easy. You don't know until you have kids. I parent kids, okay? I've also worked with children professionally for years. I'm an uncle. Right, I've been around kids. I'm an older. I'm the youngest of siblings, but I have younger cousins and things. I've been around kids and been around parenting kids and been in charge of the care of children most of my life. Okay, so don't come at me with the you don't understand what I very much understand what it's like to be a parent. I really do. I promise you, I do. But like, so like, I believe me when I say like. I get it's not easy. I understand being a parent is not easy. I understand all the trials and tribulations. And at the end of the day, kids are going to do what they're going to do. But some of these things you're doing could have been easily avoided. Could have been, like how does your daughter have access to your information like that to set up that Cash App? How did you allow her to go on this spring break trip after having done that shit, right? How are you not on top of your daughter enough to know that she's missing 10 assignments? 10! How are you not, do you not keep on top of your daughter's schoolwork? Do you not make sure she's doing her schoolwork when she gets home from school or whatever? Are you not in contact with her teachers? Assuming you're a single mom, because I didn't hear about a father in any of this. Like, so, and I get being a single parent is harder. I understand that too. And so things are going to fall through the cracks. I understand you're going to make some mistakes. That's fine. But like, some of these things are just choices, right? Letting her go on the spring break trip, that's a choice you made. You let her do that after having stolen your identity. After having stolen your personal information to set up this Cash App, you let her go on spring break without you with her boyfriend, God knows what, and you just took her fucking word for it that it was this or whatever. Even though after she had already broken your trust so severely, you just took her word for it that, you know, who was going on the trip wasn't who was going on this trip. And then we're shock, horror, flabbergasted when she lied to you, right? Like, teenagers lie, for one, and she had already proven that she couldn't be fucking trusted to begin with. So, like, trust is earned. It's so hard to earn trust, right? And it's so easy to break it. And she broke it huge, but then you still believed her, and then were shocked when she lied to you again, right? Because she doesn't respect you. That's my point. She doesn't respect you. She feels like she can lie to you. She feels like she can get away with shit, and she doesn't have to care about her schoolwork. She doesn't have to care about telling you shit. She doesn't have to care about all these things because she doesn't respect you. She doesn't respect your rules and your regulations, and she doesn't respect you as her mother. Clearly, with the lying and the going behind your back and the not giving a shit about her schoolwork and not any of this. Like, she doesn't respect you. And that's a problem. That is down to the way you have parented her throughout her life, that she feels she can disrespect you in this way. And not, again, I know teenagers are disrespectful as a rule. I understand that. I really do. Okay? Teenagers are going to do shit. But there are things here you could have done, right? Like certainly not letting her go on that spring break after this initial offense, which was the most egregious of them all. Stealing your personal financial information to set up this goddamn Cash App. That's a hell of an offense, right? You're still not going on spring break with your goddamn boyfriend after that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was mistake number one. And then in that first paragraph, too, where you're talking about your daughter setting up his Cash App, you kind of just glossed over that and focused solely on how toxic the boy's mom is, right? And mind you, her insulting you and insulting your daughter to you and to your daughter, completely unfucking called for. Like I said, I'd put pause on her for that. But, like, you just completely glossed over the egregious thing your daughter did in setting up that Cash App to begin with. You focus solely on how toxic the boyfriend's mom was about it. What about what your fucking daughter did? Right? That's not okay. And then said, just let her go on spring break after. Like, it showed her that her actions don't have real consequences, is what she committed. A real offense, a crime, and you're just let her go on spring. It just shows her that her actions don't have consequences in your eyes, and that she doesn't have to respect you or your word. And so now you trying to take away prom after all this or whatever, it's too little too late at this point. That's why she went, okay, because she doesn't care, because she's gonna go anyway. She's going to find a way, clearly. She's going to find a way to get her hands on your shit, to pay for it somehow. She's going to steal your credit card or something to pay for it somehow, right? Like, clearly she knows how to do that shit. She set it up already. So, like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. Like, that's why her response was okay, because she doesn't care about her schoolwork, right? And she's going to prom anyway. She's going to sneak out. She's going to find a way to pay for it, and there's nothing goddamn you can do about it. And she knows that. So, like, listen, you're not the asshole, and parenting is tough. Single parenting is tougher. But you are falling short in some key areas in the raising and upbringing of your daughter in this case here, all right? Now, mind you, I'm just an asshole on the internet with some life experience, whatever. Agree with me or don't, that's fine. But, like, just, you gotta lock in, man. You gotta be more involved in what your kid's doing, clearly, because she's shown that she can't be trusted. So now you gotta lock in on it, right? Because you want to just be able to trust your kids. You want to just be able to trust them. And I don't know how you guys' whole life and relationship has gone up to this point, whatever, you know, in your lives. But you like to believe that you raised your kids well enough that you don't have to watch them every second of the day, you know, to trust them to be, you know, by themselves and make the right choices. But she has shown that clearly she is not able to make these choices. She is not able to be trusted. So now you gotta lock in. So now you gotta tighten the I was gonna say noose, but that sounds wrong. So you just gotta tighten the grip a little bit, right? Because, like, she's almost 18, it's almost out of your hands basically, but as long as she's under your roof, she's under your rule, right? So she has shown that she cannot be trusted. So therefore, the benefits that come from being trusted are now revoked. That's how it works, man. You get trust until you prove you can't handle it, and then it's taken away. That's just how we gotta do these things, right? And I mean, you don't want to do it. You want to be, I said, you want to be able to trust your kids. You want to be able to trust that they're gonna make the right choices. You want them to give them that leash and have them not hang themselves with it. But sometimes, most of the time, inevitably, they're going to, and that's when you gotta pull it back a bit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta rein them back in. Be like, hey, I gave you a shot. You failed, so now we're back. Now we're back here. We gotta lock in again. You gotta prove to me that I can give you some trust again, and that's really the thing of it, man. So, no, you're not an asshole. You need to do better, man. Don't blaming the other mom for the initial thing with your daughter was weird. Although that mom does have issues, and you need to put a little pause on her for what she was talking about to your daughter. Wild, but. Nah, just, you got to lock in on your kid, man. She clearly is having some troubling behaviors here, and you got to lock in on it. That's all I got to say at the end of the day. So, whoo, boy, my throat is raw. Pause. Unpause. I don't care that it was gay. I'm a little gay. Just kidding, I'm not. I'm asexual. I'm nothing. I do like the ladies. Well, lady, Cammy. That's it. The rest you can fuck off. Whoo, boy, that was a ranty one. I ranted on that one. If I said anything that offended you or made you upset or hurt your feelings or you disagreed with, I don't care. Listen to someone else. But if you did like it, if you did agree with it, cool. I appreciate that, Leave your comments, leave your likes, do your thing. Rate the podcast. It helps me out a ton. Isn't that what people say? It helps me out a ton. That's what people say, right? But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging around, spending some time with me in your car while you're doing chores, whatever, getting ready in the morning, whatever it is, however you're listening to me. I'm happy you're here. And now it's time for the way I end all these things. Special message, everyone. And the special message, boy. I ranted a lot. I gave a lot of lecturing and that and that and advice and whatnot. But special messages, man, I get it. I understand. Parenting is tough. It is. And I said a lot of critical things, and I meant it. I meant it all, and I'll say it again. But at the end of the day, I understand parenting is very hard. People are going to make mistakes, right? Especially as a single parent. Doubly hard there. So respect to y'all. But it is rough out there, and you're going to make mistakes. But that's what you signed up for, That's what, when you become a parent, nobody forced you. Nobody forced you to become a parent. So once you become a parent, that's what you sign up for. It's going to be hard. Trials and tribulations. You sign up for the hard times, the good times, the love and the hate, making mistakes, being judged, judging yourself, being hard on yourself too. Like you sign up for all that responsibility when you become a parent. So I know it's hard. But it is your responsibility, and you got to keep on keeping on with it, and hopefully there are people in your life that you can lean on. You're not doing it. If you are a single parent, you're not doing it entirely alone, right? Hopefully you got, you can lean on your parents, friends, siblings, whatever, right? Hopefully there are people you can lean on if you're doing it by yourself. Nothing's going to make it easy. Nothing's going to make it, not days where you're crying yourself to sleep, days where you're up late at night worrying, it's just how it is. It's just the way it is. It's the nature of the beast. But I know it's hard, but I see you, and I see what you're doing, and for all those parents out there that didn't bail out, right? All those parents there that are still there, that still have their kids, right? I've worked in the system for a long time, right? System meaning like DSHS and the system with foster kids and all that stuff. So I've seen a lot of horror stories out here, and parents losing their kids and having their kids taken away for all kinds of horrible reasons. And so to all those parents out there that you're trying, you still have your kids are fed, they're clothed, they have a roof over their head, they're loved, they're looked after, and I see you. I really do. I see you, and you have my respect. You have the utmost respect for me, because that shit is not easy. And there's a lot of monsters out there, and salute to you for not being one of them. It's what you're supposed to be doing, but still, as long as you still got your kid and you make sure those kids are loved and cared for and looked after, you're doing your job, man. I know you're going to feel like you're not doing enough. You're going to feel like you're making mistakes left and right. That's just how it is, but you're doing good, okay? So keep pushing, keep moving. Let those kids know you love them, and they'll understand. And as they grow, they'll look back and they'll see how good you were to them. Okay? So for all those sacrificing out there for your kids, you have my respect, and I see you. All right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. That's the end of another one. Peace out. to all the parents and non-parents out there.